Hi, we should now move on to the third intermediate bot. We have here Nelson. That looks like Nelson's from South Africa. And 1300. Now 1300 is more like a average player. You can possibly run into many players around 1300 in a resident chess club, your local chess club. So let's see how we should play. And an opponent that plays at this level, we can return e4 with e5. Usually would be pretty tricky sometimes, like they brought their queen out. Their usual reply would be knight to f6, which would give up this pawn on e5 with a check. Or some people might also play g6, which would give up the e5 pawn with a check, but also lose the h8 rook. So when somebody plays their queen out too early, just know that it's a bad move, but don't panic and do some very basic development moves. So now this pawn is being developed, protected, and now when we play our knight out and attack the queen, the queen cannot take this pawn. So now we see our opponent has an attack on the king. So this is threatening a checkmate. Now there are many ways of defending this. So now this move is possible because this move is not possible. We could also bring our queen out here to protect the pawn. We can bring our queen out here to protect the pawn and maybe launch a counter attack. Maybe that's the direction we should go. So, but the thing with bringing our queen out here, we block our knight, and that's not usually a good idea. So, but what would be the most principled move for you guys? You know, in general, if someone brings their queen out, I think it's a good idea to match like with like. So there. The queen is out, our queen is out. We can bring our bishop out and launch our attack here. Of course, if we bring our bishop out now, this move is possible. And if we were to capture, our bishop would be unprotected. So we got to watch out for little tricks like that. So one way to avoid these sort of things is just do some simple developing moves sometimes. But let's get our knight out. Let's get our knight out. See? Now we get our knight out here. Be threatening all sorts of things now. Boom. Now our bishop can come out. We're gonna free up our other bishop. That does not bother us. We can just bring our bishop backwards. And now we gotta watch out for this move here, trapping our bishop. So we make a little escape square. Okay, remember we said the knight on the rim is dim. So I see right now, and this is where the patience come in. There was a lot of pressure in the beginning and maybe some good moves, but as soon as our opponent starts playing on the flank, let's call it, it's when we should seize our opportunity to take advantage. So how can we take advantage? Do we castle kingside? Do we bring our bishop out and castle queenside? These are all possibilities. Do we bring our knight out, attacking the queen? Lots of things to do, but just in the interest of like showing you guys though, if there's a lot of pieces aiming at one side of the board, you know, we have the knight coming here, I highly recommend that you don't castle on the side where your opponent is stronger. So a good alternative would be to castle on the queen side, but you also got to look out for this pawns. So I see a lot of pawns are coming here. Is this a danger? For instance, b5, what will you do? Pawn captures b5, pawn captures b5, and the rook is open for an attack. That looks quite dangerous too. So sometimes if there's a lot of pressure on one side and a lot of pressure on the other side, maybe your king is safest in the middle. So let's try and relieve some of this pressure by maybe exchanging off some pieces. Okay. Okay, so we can take this bishop to relieve some pressure. And when the pawn captures attacking our knight, we can just move our knight back, anticipating a capture here. Okay. Now with the pawn up there, let's see. I can see a potential of moving our knight out here to here, where it would be a little bit stronger. But yeah, I think now we should castle, because we eliminated that threat, and so that's no longer an issue. And now this attack here is a little pointless, so we could just move our queen forward, attacking this pawn, and these knights defend each other, of course, so we're not worried there. Our bishop is staring at the king, so we're happy there. So this attack, we're just gonna go backwards here. We don't want to go here yet because we don't want to lose our bishop to that knight. I think our bishop is quite strong as it stares down at that pawn on the king side. So one good way to deal with this is to eliminate a little bit of pressure. So let's get rid of this bishop, and of course this bishop is pinned, so if the bishop were to move, the queen would be unprotected. So say bishop takes knight, queen takes queen. So since the bishop was not amply protected, maybe a bit better move would have been something like this to protect the bishop, and then the queen could move, but we should take the bishop. And knight takes, and now we have a bit of a problem here, but that's the whole point of bringing additional forces over here. So how can we defend this checkmate? We can easily defend it by moving our knight. See, now the queen is protecting this square. And we can offer a queen trade, getting rid of the attack. And then we can continue to annoy the queen. See, now the checkmate threat is gone. And now we have another situation where the queen is undefended, if you noticed. So if we were to attack this knight again and it moves, the queen would be undefended. So moving the knight over to e6 does not prevent me from capturing the queen. And now we should look at ways to get our rook into this open file here, a semi-open file. See, I don't think this is something to worry about. I think my opponent has a lot more bigger problems. So I'm just gonna move my king out. Then I'm gonna move my knight out. Then I'm gonna move my rook out. So even if they had captured my rook, I had another rook over here. And that's usually a good exchange, like an active knight versus an inactive rook. That's a great exchange. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces attacking this pawn, and only 1, 2 pieces defending. And in a situation like this, I think it's very good to go ahead and make a sacrifice. So sacrifice my knight. Then I can sacrifice my other knight, threatening a checkmate here. And my opponent didn't find any way out of it. Bringing this knight back would have been good because the knights do defend each other. But unfortunately, here's a simple checkmate. Good game.